Okay, hello everyone. So glad that you can join me today. We shall do a guided meditation on the breath. And before we start, just a quick note about the practice of meditation, which is really a practice of moment to moment mindfulness on a single object that is simple, such as the breath. And how do we stay mindful continuously? It is to keep the mind. The mind is the heart. It's at the heart, not in the brain. It's to keep the mind wholesome. So when we say wholesome, what do we really mean? A wholesome mind is one that is respectful, contented, accepting, light, soft, trusting, without being gullible, and balanced. Okay, so we keep the mind like this. Of course, it is easy to talk about, the descriptions of such a mind, but how does such a mind feel like? When we are attentively listening to an elder speaking, that is the mind that is wholesome. When we are appreciating or being grateful over something that someone else is doing, benefiting ourselves, the feeling of gratitude, that's also wholesome mind. So keeping that kind of mind and keep it continuously attending to a simple object such as the breath. So that is what we're going to do. Okay, and many of us, because of our lifestyle, our work, and perhaps our habits, the mind is tensed without ourselves conscious of it. And the body is tense as a result of the mind being tense. So we will do a bit of a relaxation of the body, and then the mind, and then mindfulness on the breath. Okay, so mind is very interesting. Sometimes we think that, oh, it's that's it. This is the mind. It's there's no way out of it. Actually, as long as you change the object of the mind will gradually unwind, and it can become wholesome again. And then you can see lots of hope, and the things that used to bother you were so funny. You feel that, why was I so bothered with those things? Yeah, so the mind is like that. Always give yourself a chance. It's like the climate is not defined by the weather. Okay, so let's go back to the practice. Okay, so let's sit upright like myself. You can sit on a sofa like this, with one leg in front of the other, or you can have one leg on top of the other. Um, for me, I like to sit on cushions, just to raise the buttock a bit higher than the legs, the plane of the legs. You can also sit with your legs down on a normal chair. That's fine. The important thing is the back is upright. As for the hand, you can hold it like this, or you can just place it on your lap so that the shoulder doesn't feel strained. Like if you were to hang your arms down, after a while you feel the tension in your shoulder, the pulling of the tendon. So we can just grasp it like this, but it doesn't matter how you place your hands. So upright. Okay, so with that, let us close our eyes. We make a determination, a decision that for the next 10 to 20 minutes, let us let go of all the thoughts we have related to the past and the future. Put them aside, put them down, and let us devote the time to the present, to the self, to the mind, to wellness and wholesomeness. And let us begin by relaxing the body, starting at the top of our head, So feel the top of our head, the raw sensation. Perhaps you can feel a little bit of tension at the scalp, or the hardness of the scalp, or perhaps the coolness because of the breeze or the wind, or the draft from the aircon. So just feel the raw sensation and feel especially the skin on the scalp, the tone of the scalp muscles, perhaps focusing on the softness and the flowing nature of the muscles, and observe the sensations around the scalp as if they are flowing down to our scalp, to our temples, of our forehead and the back of the head. Feel the muscles flowing, relaxing, releasing the tension around the eyes and the face, flowing down the cheeks, around the mouth, at the jaw, flowing down our neck, releasing all the tension at the neck, all the way to the shoulders, allowing the spine to recoil and relax into its natural, slightly curved position. Feel the muscles on our shoulders relaxing, softening, flowing in all directions as if they are melting, flowing down the arms on both sides of the body, all the way to the elbows, allowing the elbows to hang by their own weights, gravitating down as the muscles flow down to the forearms and the wrists, and the hands and the fingers, as if they're melting all the way to the fingertips. And feel the muscles on our chest, in front and at the back, loosening that grip over our rib cage as the lungs breathe on themselves naturally, a biological reflex. And feel the muscles flowing down to the abdomen and the back of the body, relaxing, allowing the whole body to rest at the base of our abdomen, the center of a body's gravity, and the organs in the abdomen resting, the livers, the spleen, the kidneys, like cushions and pillows in the cabinets, in darkness, resting, sleeping, resting onto the center of our gravity, at the base of our abdomen, at the center of our pelvis, anchored. And the muscles around our pelvis, the buttocks, the thighs, feel the muscles and feel them soft and flowing, all the way to the knees and the calves and the ankles and the feet. Feel the muscles soft and flowing, melting, melting and flowing as if all the way to the seats. Feeling the whole body soft, anchored, relaxed. Next, let us relax the mind at the heart base in the center of our chest. Feel the heart where the mind is, like water in a pool in the depth of the forest, high in the mountains. When all the winds and breezes have stopped, the waves and the ripples settle, and the mind becomes still like a mirror, reflective, without judgment, without controlling, without participating, like a still forest pool, mirror-like, reflective. When the birds fly past, there is a reflection, and when the birds have left, there is nothing. Such is the mind of a meditator, observing without holding, without attaching, always learning, completely curious, like a child. With the body soft and relaxed, and the mind settled and reflective, let us bring our attention to our breaths. The breaths in front of our nostrils, above the upper lip. Naturally, the in-breath and out-breath happens. And the work of the meditator is merely to know and see the in and out breath without following the breath into the body or out into space. Just stay with the breath in front of the nostrils, above the upper lip. Like a guard of a castle at the entrance, always knowing any person who walks into the castle and anyone who walks out, without paying attention to whatever they may be doing inside or where they have come from. Just observing the in-breath and the out-breath, respectfully, lovingly, in-breath and out-breath, never forgetting each in-breath and out-breath, and know the breath as if it is our closest friend, ever accompanying us from the moment we were born until the last days of our lives. In breath and out breath. Stay with the breath, knowing that it is an in-breath and that it is an out-breath, with clarity, with mindfulness. For mindfulness is the mind fully present, fully confronting, never forgetting. And this is mindfulness. And we can raise the bar of mindfulness and clarity by asking ourselves, is this a long breath or is this a short breath? The long and short of breath is the duration of each breath. This raises our attention and awareness of each breath, in or out. Strive and aspire to stay with the breath throughout its course, from the beginning to the middle and to the end of each in-breath and each out-breath. Aspire for having no gaps in our mindfulness of the whole breath. When the mind feels tense, let us relax it by feeling a bit detached from the object, just an observer. When the mind is too relaxed, where there are lots of daydreams, let us strive to stay with the breath throughout its course, checking occasionally, where's the mind? Where's the breath? And let the question anchor the mind onto the breath, keeping the mind balanced. It's like cycling, always energetic and yet relaxing and enjoyable is the work of cycling, just like meditation. There is stillness in dynamism, and there's this striving in the stillness. Stay with the breath continuously without any gap. When the mindfulness deepens, the concentration develops. When the concentration deepens, the breath becomes even more subtle, more faint. And in order to stay with the breath, one needs to raise the level of mindfulness even more and deepening the concentration, and the breath becomes even more subtle. When the breath is so faint, just raise our mindfulness in front of the nostrils and be aware of the faint breath. For as long as we are alive, there is breath. We only need to increase our mindfulness to know the breath, and we may find the mind become ever closer and more intimate with the breath. Just stay with the breath throughout its course and let the mindfulness deepen our concentration, balancing the mind, being curious and energized at the same time as being detached and chill. Know the breath like it is an old friend in front of the nostrils, above the upper lip. Initially, we know the breath because of the sensation, but gradually, we don't need the sensation for us to know the breath. The mind knows the breath directly. For the object of this mind is not the sensation, but the breath itself. When the mind is very still, we can feel brighter. We can even perceive some kind of brightness. And the mind seems to be one with the breath. And the breath is one with the mind and the light. And let the breath meditate on itself. Keep the mind respectful, as if the breath is our closest, most endearing friend. If there should be joy and happiness, those are the side effects of continual mindfulness. And we stay with the breath and ignore all other emotions. Just stay with the breath continuously. If you like, you can continue sitting like this, or at your own time, you may open your eyes. Mindfulness will fade with the day as more and more distraction demands our attention. But let us remember this moment of mindfulness, for it will help us when the mind is tense. Okay, so um, so if you're watching this video at home, you can continue to sit like this. And as I said just now, because we have lots of duties and responsibilities, we need to engage with people and work, and the mind will be full of movement, and there are moments when we're not mindful, and we can have minds that are not wholesome. That's fine. They're just like weather. And but if you have experienced peace, you can always come back to it. You know how to do this. But it's very important that we do this regularly so that the parts of the mind is strengthened. Like, as we go to the gym, we strengthen certain parts of the body. So similarly, when we still the mind, we strengthen the wholesome part of the mind. And when we need it, when we most need it, like when we are really, really stressed, it can come back as long as you remember. So for me, how do I get into this state? I just say, I know, and then it comes back. Okay, so hopefully it works for you. Huh?